Yeah, for real. Alright, hey guys, welcome into the first episode of Control Room, hosted by me, JKT, or James Knows Tex, and we have a guest speaker who's going to be on here quite a bit. We have Jfirecrackers. Check him out on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube, and also Instagram. So we got a few things we're going to get into today. Probably going to start with Apple's new accessibility features, and we have new features across Mac, iPhone, Apple Watch, and a few other things. So I really want to highlight that there's new live captions, braille access, and magnifier improvements.
Mhm.
Accessibility shouldn't be an Apple afterthought, and I think Apple's really taking that in consideration and improving it. We don't see as much accessibility with some other people, which we have some news from other, you know,
Well,
other
I'm just gonna
creators.
stop you for a second. Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on, hold on. Did you say Apple is coming out with a Braille?
Uh, no, they're improving braille access. Yeah. So
How oh, how how does that work?
I don't know the.
I I maybe this is just me. I don't know how the Braille access works on an
I don't know
iPhone at
how it works either.
all.
So that's why it's kind of interesting to hear about. I mean, it's because you have a touchscreen device. I mean, you can't really
Correct.
feel the bumps. Um,
Maybe it's like a haptic thing where like
I
you touch over something
I
and
think
it
it is
vibrates.
because they have haptics. You know, we have the shake to undo typing. We have a lot of accessibility features
Yeah,
so far.
exactly. So
Um,
that's what I'm thinking. I'm leaning towards maybe the haptic thing
yeah,
because again, they can't feel the buttons. Like
I mean, you could feel your power, but then you gotta think that like iPhone 16 has that new camera button, um, which is flat. So what are you doing? You trying to feel the braille? No, so but I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I'm trying to feel it, bro. Hold on.
yeah, I mean, that's
I
pretty
didn't
much how
feel
it
it.
would be. And this is no shot at blind people. It's just I don't know how they're gonna make it work for you. It
Correct.
is
I'm a
cool that they're thinking about accessibility, and we haven't seen that as much from other companies, Samsung or Google, but they do have some
correct.
nice stuff cooking up too.
Correct. Yeah, it's nice to see the tech world shifting over to the accessibility because again, people that are blind or people that are deaf, it's really hard for them. Like the new Meta glasses, I don't know if you've looked into them a lot, but they're
Not
really
much.
smart where deaf people if they're wearing them, they can like it kind of puts a script on their glasses on the screen of
Oh,
it.
what people are saying so they can read it.
Yeah,
Voice
yeah.
recognition. That's pretty cool. So the other thing is like I mean Xbox, and I know a lot of people hate on Xbox. You know, fair point to each their own. They have had accessibility controllers for a while, and those have got
Correct.
pretty
Yeah.
popular. You know, for handicapped people, um, I don't even know if that's PC, but I mean, they've had stuff out there for a while though, and it's really nice to see that everyone's kind of following suit. I don't
Correct. Yeah.
necessarily need accessibility in things, but it is nice to see that that's an option. I think it's a world that everybody should be able to be a part of. It's great.
No, I agree with you. I think the way the world is shifting right now,
Yeah.
it's we're turning in a good direction. Especially like the new I want to segue into the new Google AI, how it's coming to everything. I feel like it's going to be a lot easier for people to access that and help them in their everyday life.
Yeah, I think Gemini AI being in Chrome and everything is going to be nice. And the fact that it's pretty much now your phone's co-pilot, helping you do
Mhm.
everything. And then, I mean, you already kind of have Copilot AI with Microsoft, and you can download that app. You can download ChatGPT, but having it built in and having it more defined than Siri
Yeah.
or Bixby that we have with Samsung, is really nice. I will
And
say though,
which
it
I was gonna say I have played around with both like Bixby and Siri and everything like that, and I can say Bixby is not anywhere in the realm of where Siri is right now. But I also feel like the Gemini from Google is basically on par, if not better. Like it's really good.
yeah, and I don't even want to say that I'm a big fan of Siri or Bixby. I kind of think that honestly, those voice assistants, because I'm not going to call them AI, they're not AI. Those voice
Okay,
assistants, you know, they may automate some stuff on your phone. Siri sucks. Let's be real here. Siri
it
sucks.
does. It
Siri's
does.
not the greatest. It's not.
But you got to admit, it's so much better than Bixby has ever been.
I can, as someone who's owns both devices, yes, I can say it is better
Yes.
than Bixby. I mean, but the extent of my use with Siri is Siri, turn on a timer for this long. And half the time she says, huh? I didn't get that. So, I mean, it's really hard to recommend something for somebody who needs accessibility with maybe voice activation because they can't type as easily. For
I
me to
get
go,
that.
oh yeah, an iPhone. So it's nice that iPhone's adding in those accessibility features. But even back
Correct.
to the
Yeah,
to
I
the
agree.
Google Gemini AI. I don't even want to consider things AI. We have ChatGPT, we have Copilot. And this is something that I had a professor tell me, and I kind of agree with him though on this. They're more, they're not necessarily artificial intelligence more than they are
Hmm.
LLMs, and by LLM it's large language library or learning library, something like that, or
Okay.
it's more of so it's just a application that has access to data and it forms a
Okay.
response. And you can
I think I can
it's
agree with that.
I don't think it's true AI. Now, do I use it all the time? Yeah, because it's fun to go, hey, y- you know, how about this? And just little
Yeah.
tests and things are fun with it. Is the voice now the voice thing can be fun if you need to say something and you need immediate response to, hey, blah 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 blah. And I'm specifically talking about ChatGPT here, and you
Hmm.
want to maybe say, hey, so I'm thinking this, is this sound somewhat correct? And the fact that that LLM can go access everything it's been taught and go, yes, this,
Okay.
yes, and give you, it's kind of understanding, but it's on par with Google search. I mean, but the thing is you really have to know how to use Google to search Google properly to find what you want, because you could search something one way and then change a word and then get different results.
I see. I agree with that, but I also disagree. Like, I can look up something and I can completely spell it the complete wrong way, misspell everything, throw commas, apostrophes, whatever in, and it's gonna give me exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
95% of the time.
I'd say most of the time it's got to that point where it can. And plus, the web is so large.
It
But
is. Yeah. Yeah.
LLM, sorry, I had the definition wrong. It's large language models. And
Okay, that makes more sense.
it does make more sense. But so also in talks with some new phone stuff, we have Android 16 coming out. It looks slick. It looks nice. There's some more color control and obviously some more AI stuff. Some more AI
So,
things.
do you think that both companies now they're competing kind of in this AI realm? Android's making everything look cleaner. I'm sorry, not Apple. Google has already been making all of their devices look clean. I don't know if anybody's really looked into a Google Pixel or if
I
anybody owns a Google
so
Pixel, but they are
yeah.
very clean looking. They are
Me personally,
amazing.
I've been pretty tempted to switch to Google Pixel phone. I had an iPhone 11 for a few years after switching from Motorola, and I will say, Motorola, we all know it is the budget-friendly brand for Android
It's one of them.
devices.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can tell you one thing: one, that was one of the most durable phones I've ever had, and it got the job done. I didn't
It
have
did.
any
It
issues
did.
with it. The only issue with it was that eventually it stopped supporting apps. But I had that phone for years. From then, I went to an iPhone 11, and I liked it. But honestly, there were a lot of times when I missed my Android phone. And honestly, from that iPhone 11, I went to an iPhone 15. I've had it for about 2 years. And I guess, almost 2 years because it hasn't been out that long. But I've had it for a while, and I like it for the most part. I like that I can sync a lot of my devices in the same ecosystem. But I'm not a Mac user. I'm a Windows user. If it's not Windows, it's Linux, and that's very,
Sure.
very, rarely. I'd much
And
rather have an ecosystem that works, and with Android and Windows, you can make it work. There are apps for that. With
I, I totally agree with that. And I feel like Google, especially being the primary phone, like the manufacturer of it, everything that you do through Google, everybody's got a Gmail account, everybody, Google Home, everything,
YouTube, I
everything
mean,
can
if
be
you
set
have
up.
YouTube, yeah, and that's that
It's set
ecosystem.
up, yeah. So it's that ecosystem where what's really been kind of pushing me to try to switch possibly to a Google is the fact that Apple has gotten real good at if anybody wants to believe it or not, slowing down phones
No,
when
they have because
they they've gotten real good at that. And I have noticed, I just recently switched, probably, what, 4 months ago, something
I think
like
it's been
that,
about 4
to
months.
an iPhone 16 Pro. I think it's a Pro Max, whatever. Either way, I've already noticed the decline from when I originally bought it to 4 months down the line, the decline in productivity, you know, things loading, everything has started to
Granted,
decline already.
now I would like to point out that I've put out a few things on to my pages. I know you follow them. There are some ways to combat that, but I can say as someone who's
Sure.
had my iPhone 15 for a while, I am really. I mean, I work in IT. This is my job, so I know how to take care of my stuff. But the
Sure.
batteries suck. I mean, I work with iOS
They,
devices daily, and I can't tell you because I'm in charge of a large deployment of iOS tablets and phones. And I can't tell you how often I have battery issues. It's ridiculous how often that these batteries fail. And I can't even blame it on the people that I'm giving them to. I can't even blame it on the chargers
sure.
half the time. 90% of the time, it's the battery cannot hold a charge. Even when we're taking care of them, the batteries fail so much. And that's where I have to hand it to devices like Samsung and Google, and Motorola even, excellent battery life. Excellent
Mhm.
battery life.
I can agree.
I
I
mean,
can agree.
it's so bad that on my Apple iPhone 15, this is my personal that I've had for a while. This battery sucks. Now it lasts most of the day, but if I'm using it calls and emails, even it goes down pretty quick. I mean, in a few hours it goes from 95%. I don't charge it up to 100. I charge it up to 95. Up to 95%, down to 60. You know, it's very common. Now I have a new phone at work. I usually did some upgrades. I have an iPhone 15 there too. It's new and it gets used for calls and emails. I haven't had any battery issues, but I won't be surprised if in 4 or 5 months I have those battery issues.
Which I that's the thing. Constantly looking for a charger is really
Annoying.
it's aggravating. And having to have a charger in the car, having a charger in your work bag, having a charger just at work, period. Having to have a charger anywhere you go, it gets annoying, and it's honestly at this point it's aggravating. It's really frustrating.
And even buying chargers because you can buy a cheap charger and it won't normally they're
It
not
won't.
even the right power. They don't they
No,
don't give
they
you the right
won't
power.
charge very
They
fast
don't
at
charge
all. They
fast, and so you have to spend money on a good charger. And I
But and
have good
if you buy
chargers.
the charger directly from Apple, it costs you a fortune.
Oh yes,
Chargers on
Apple.
Apple, because
This
they have their own bricks now too.
so crazy. So actually, while we're here, I want to. Sorry, I blurred out a little bit. I want to give a suggestion. So this will work. We all have Type C. So even if you're a Samsung or Android user, I really love this Anchor charger. This isn't a sponsorship. I just want to say this is a great charger. Not only does it have Type C and it comes with Type C cords, but also USB. So if you need USB A for something,
So you
or
can do either one.
you can do either one. Not only that, when I bought this, I think it was $20 for a dual pack. So I have another one brand new still. I've had this for 6, 7 months. This cord is about
It's about a 6 foot cord.
it's about a six. It's a little shorter, but
Maybe
this
a four.
Type C.
I mean, either
Yeah,
way.
it's a little longer than 3 foot, but Type C to Type C. This cord has been great. Honestly, it's been pretty durable. It's not braided, grant you. That's been the best charger I've owned. All of my Apple chargers suck compared to this thing. This delivers
Sure.
good charge. It's fast. A brand new Apple charger, nothing beats it. Apple charger you've had
I'm
for
not
a
gonna
month,
lie. Yeah. I bought a
everything
charger
beats.
from the gas station a couple months ago, and that's my personal charger, and that thing works like
Ex-
a dream.
yeah. And granted, you're gonna see different charging if you're in your car because those outlets are not designed,
Correct.
especially your cigarette ports. They're not designed to give you. They're 5 watts. I mean, they're not giving you the power that a 20-watt charger that you plugged into an outlet is. Now, anyone with a newer car, you're gonna have that outlet. That's where you're gonna want to charge your phone. You know,
Correct.
but I will say this
But
Anchor, this Anchor, however you want to say it, great charger. I've used a couple other things from that company that aren't necessarily chargers. Good company overall. With that being said, it's not even just a power issue. I'm constantly, refreshing settings, restoring, just to keep my iPhone running smoothly. I restart it, I let it
sure.
die, and especially, I want to go back to your point. You've noticed some slowness. that's things
Sure,
you can
yeah.
fix. But I mean, I didn't really have those issues with an Android phone.
No, no, and I've even done the tips, to close, making sure you close all your browsers. Because I am real bad. When I open my browser, I just hit a new tab and I don't think about it, right? And I just go on about my day. The time I looked, like about a month ago, I looked, I had over 300 tabs open. So that is a good point for anybody. If you
I
are
don't think
experiencing
people
anything, try to
realize that your apps, even if you turn, are running in the background.
correct. So
And
that is a good thing. Try to, delete all the tabs you have open, anything like that. I also got rid of a lot of photos, guys. You don't realize how many photos, useless photos, screenshots of random things. This recipe you found online that you never baked, you never did, and you found it 4 years ago, and you said it was good then, and now you're like, wow, that
yeah,
sounds
yeah.
awful. Get rid of everything, guys.
That's a really good point, actually. I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, you got to remember that your operating system for your phone is on the same storage as your photos and your apps. The
Correct.
the more you have on that, I don't care if you says it has you have 20 gigabytes of free space. It doesn't matter. No matter what model you have, the more you have on that, the slower it is. It's gonna, and you only have so much RAM on a mobile device. You
Mhm.
cannot configure them anywhere near as much as you can a computer, for the most part. So you can maybe change your storage and maybe a screen size and camera. That's the configuration they allow you to do on a mobile phone.
Correct.
But you're gonna realize that unless you kind of clear those things out and you have your browser running in the background, and also make sure your location. Here's another thing: location will kill your battery. So if you use Life 360 and you have location always on, I get it. You want to understand where your kids are, or your mom and dad, if they're elderly. But having it constantly on, that's gonna kill your battery. And keeping your tabs open on your browser, it's gonna kill and
Mhm.
slow things down.
I
Keeping
also do want to point that, like, me again, guys, I was terrible about this. I went and I did all this, so trust me, it does work. I went through and deleted a lot of apps that I have not touched in months. And even if they're on your home screen and you click on them and it says they're stored to the cloud but not actually downloaded on your device physically at that moment, they're still stored in the cloud, and the cloud is on your phone. So it is still eating up all of your memory. So
well,
do me a favor.
yes,
If you're not using it, if you haven't touched it in the past 3 months, get rid of it.
yeah, yes and no. And you will notice that there are a few settings for Apple, and I have this on. It'll offload unused apps. So if you haven't used an app in a while, it'll offload it and it'll have it there for you to reinstall. It'll keep you on the home page, and it's a pretty nice thing to have. Sometimes I won't use an app for a while, and then I'll need it once. And again, I'll go, "Where's this app?" And it'll
Yeah,
reinstall it for
but
me.
at the same
But
time, it still does sit
it's
there and
not
it
really
eats up
it's
space.
not storing as much though on your phone
Not as much, but if
physically.
you
It's
say you
definitely
have
more.
five,
It's
I'll
definitely
say if you
more.
have 5 pages full of apps that you are not using, get rid of them because they're
It's
honest.
and I get that, and I guarantee you that most people watching and most people that are average users aren't using offload unused apps. And that's
Right.
another thing. You have that many apps that you're not using, get rid of them. You'll notice that as you swipe through, that's faster. I mean, the
Oh yeah.
less you have on to load, the faster it is. Because you have a GPU in your phone as well. You just may not understand it. It's think of it this way. It's almost all the same parts you have in a laptop or a computer. It's just in mobile version. It's
Hmm.
changed, but it's the same stuff. It does almost the same things. It's in a different operating system and UI. Granted that, but most of it's the same. If you're
Yes.
overclocking your GPU, it's gonna be slower. Think of it like this way: you turn shaders on Minecraft and you have a 5080. That's an old card. It's gonna be so slow. Your FPS is gonna drop.
Correct.
I mean, it's not gonna be good. You have a lot loading in Minecraft. Your frame rate drops. I'm saying Minecraft general game reference, but it's just like that's how that works. The more you have loading in, the slower things are. You have an
Correct.
FPS on your phone, you just don't see it. And I know that sounds
Mhm.
weird to say, but it's there. Um,
It is. It is.
so the last thing we've kind of talked about this storage thing, and kind of want to move away from it. I do think that they are one. I want to point round this out. they are fighting each other. Everybody's fighting each other for the best LLM or AI right now. Everybody's fighting each other for that space. I mean, we're seeing it in AMD. Kind of. They haven't really hopped in the game much, but we're seeing it especially with NVIDIA for GPUs. We're seeing
Hmm.
it with a lot of CPUs for computers, our phones, our apps. I mean, editors. It's everywhere. The issue with that, though, because it's everywhere, 95% of it is total garbage. So just be careful what AI you use because it's not all going to work well. They want money for it. There's no one, kind of step back and really look at what you're getting into with that. I want to finish out this phone thing. I want to say Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge coming out. This is going to be Samsung's thinnest flagship phone ever. And on top of that, pre-orders, they're including, get this, free Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. That's
Oh,
about $200 value with a pre-order.
that's a good gym headset earbuds to use at the gym, guys. Just letting you know, those are great.
But granted, that's a solid pre-order bonus. Granted, though, I mean, phone
Hmm.
prices are kind of ridiculous. So that almost balances out paying that kind of money that you're going to shell out for a phone. I mean, really and truly, it's the new seven. It's a base model is it's $1,000, a
Yeah.
little over 1,000. I mean, and the reason they're charging you that much, guys, is it's not the camera, it's not the UI, it's because they can and you'll buy it.
Hmm.
And you can get away. They're not changing as much as you think they are. You can get away with a cheaper phone, be just as good. Because most
Yeah.
of you are scrolling on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchatting, and making phone calls and texting. 90% of you that think you need this big phone, you don't. You have no need for it. Same thing with iPads. And I don't want to sound like I'm targeting anybody, but the biggest issue with prices isn't the manufacturer. It's consumers. If you guys weren't buying more than what you needed, prices would be so much better.
Correct.
Granted, there's
Now,
other economical things, but we're not going to get into that. But buy what you need, not what's the best. And I know
now
that
I
sounds bad, but buy what you need, not what is, ooh, this is flashy fancy. And you'll notice those prices on the flashy fancy things go down, then you can get them.
so I completely agree with you, and I love that you explain that to people. With that being said, I kind of want to move into kind of, I guess it's a comparison. I want to get your opinion on this. How do you feel about the difference between the Apple iOS store, the App Store, compared to other creators like Google and Samsung's App Store, Android App Store, whatever? Um, and the reason I bring this up is because of the brand new, just released yesterday, the Fortnite ban that has happened
I saw
on
that.
the
I saw
iOS
that.
store,
I saw that.
which it really does impact the whole market because from what I read, I could be completely wrong. Since it's not able to release on Apple anymore, they kind of have to just remove it from all mobile app or mobile companies pretty much because they're not entitled to give it to one, they can't give it to another. I could have been wrong about that, but that's what I've read.
I haven't read too much into it. I do know that the biggest thing is that they were kind of refusing to give Apple money for installs and in-game purchases, just
Correct.
because they
Yeah.
were hosting it on Apple's Play Store. And you want me to be honest? They shouldn't have to. Once they've installed the game, a free game with in-purchase, I mean, come on. At that point, you're buying it directly from Epic. You're not buying it from Apple.
Sure.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
You're
You're
pretty much
not.
Apple is just the host of the game. The Apple Store is just the host, so you can download it. Other than that, you are paying your money directly to Epic Games, so there should be no having to pay
Granted,
Apple
Epic
because
already is paying. In a way, Apple's gonna. You can't host an app on on a store like that for free. I mean, it costs money, even if it's a
correct.
free
Yeah.
app. And so Apple's already getting what they need. They're already getting their money. And if we're gonna compare, I mean, just a general comparison of the different app stores. But we have Apple's App Store, we have Google Play Store, um, which is the standard on all Android devices, and then Samsung does have Samsung App Store, but it also comes with Google Play Store. So let's just really
Mhm.
focus on the main two. I think that what this really does, though, is doesn't hurt the manufacturer. I think this hurts the people. Really, I think
Sure.
really Apple's selfishness here for a few extra bucks. When they're already $1 trillion company, it's ridiculous. I mean,
Because you got to think,
you
so many people that play this game, let's be honest, a lot of them are children. This game is mostly centered around children. And who is the biggest consumer of games on phones and tablets and everything? It's
children.
children. So this game not being able to be pushed to Apple, so it kind of falls back on Samsung and Android and everything like that, hurts the people. Like you said, if the biggest market on this game is going to be the children that play it all the time. They want to play it on the road trips. They want to play it, if they're at a school dance that they don't, they're
And the
waiting for
thing
sister to be done.
is these
Like,
people want to play it so bad that while it's free everywhere else, you could charge $3 and they'd pay it. You could charge
correct.
10 and they'd buy it. If you really wanted to, I mean, and I'm sure there's some more legal issues with it and some logical and some more statistics around it. But I mean, maybe
There's
charge a
probably a
bundle.
lot we don't know about it.
Yeah, maybe charge. If Apple really wants money that bad, they're already getting it from Epic, posting the game on their app store. Make an Apple bundle. Comes with some V-Bucks, a skin that's Apple themed, and you can only get it on iOS and keep the game free. But I mean,
Which is
Apple,
what they did with the Galaxy phones, if you remember.
they
They
did,
came out with the
they did
exclusive
the Samsung
Galaxy
Galaxy.
skin.
Yeah. Here's my thing though: is I mean, Apple's already $1 trillion company, and
Mm.
it's funny that they are, because the thing I've noticed, this is a trend, as someone who uses it and someone who's in the world, their least concern is the actual consumer. They don't really care about the consumer, yet so many people consume Mac devices. I mean, I know so many people that use Mac, and I'm telling you, and I know a lot of you go, I need a Mac Pro, I need a MacBook, I need a Mac Mini. Listen, there are very few use cases where you need them. If you're
Hmm.
editing, and Adobe, I will say, Adobe Premiere Suite stuff works better on Mac. Gaming doesn't work better on Mac, it's better on Windows. Steam's better on
I
Windows.
love using Windows.
I mean, I love Windows. Well, Windows has problems, and Linux, yes, is open source, and there's a lot of things. But Linux has a lot of issues with gaming too because you have to jump through so many hoops. Windows is just
Hmm.
simpler at the end of the day. It really is. As much as we hate on Windows, Apple doesn't care about you though. They don't. They care about what you're putting in their pockets, and you guys are buying MacBooks. And I'm gonna be honest. I've worked with a lot of people, so this isn't anybody, and I've just seen a lot of people online even. The average person doesn't know how to use the devices they have. So you don't
Oh,
need a
100%.
MacBook when it's going to be confusing for you. Just get a
They don't
Windows
know how to
PC. You're going to spend less money on
correct.
a Windows system, too. I mean, come on. Why am I paying that much? Nick, granted, don't get me wrong. If you just kind of prefer Mac OS and that ecosystem, and you maybe
Mhm.
want a computer, get a Mac Mini. You're going to spend less, and it's just as good.
Correct.
It's maybe when you look at benchmarks, no, but none of you are going to be using. The average person's not using what it's going to take to really push those computers to their limit.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, to certain jobs, yeah, it's nice to have Adobe Premiere stuff work better if you're editing and
Sure.
everything.
Sure.
But I just am. This is someone who uses iOS, so don't take it as I don't know what I'm talking about. I use this stuff. I'd
Yeah.
rather hop
So
on my Windows machine and a than deal with Mac stuff. It's so much easier on Windows. It is.
no, and I agree. And with that, I hate to bring it up again, but this Fortnite, like, it's kind of killing the the way a lot of people are viewing the company. I think it's really a start to the downfall where everybody's like, wow, like you can't get everything together for one thing. Like all people have been asking for is Fortnite to come back to their mobile phone.
Years.
That's
I
all they
mean,
want.
years. It's
Years.
been years at
It's
this point, and it's all people want. And I think that you're really killing it. And we've given Apple some strong suits here, where we've talked about some accessibility settings that they've done, but then they also go back and they do things like this, and they kill it. They are really.
correct.
Granted, they don't care. They've already made their money. It doesn't matter. They're not going to lose their money because I mean they still have people that are buying $2,000 phones. And you will.
Correct.
You will. You all will. And I can't say that I never won't. I'll still go spend money on a phone. But
100%.
on top of that, you guys are buying phones every year when they come out. And the biggest thing is, there's never any real difference. There's not. I mean, maybe the iPhone
There's
16 is
not.
slightly different than the 15. The 14 and 50 are practically the same phone. Practically the same thing.
The 16 is practically the same thing to the 15, although I do want to bring it up. Again, they locked the new features behind buying a new phone, like
Yep. Yep.
the Apple AI, which, if you guys see, the AI is basically all they added was a ring around the phone. And the AI, I will say, the Apple AI, terrible. I'm sorry we're going back to it
That's fine.
again.
It's
I
fine. It's fine.
apologize, but it is absolutely awful, and I hate the fact that they had to lock it behind a paywall of buying the new phone because it is something they can absolutely, in
Push out. They
one
can
update, put on
they can
everything
push it
else.
out with a software update. And that's what's ridiculous is it's there because the 16's getting the same software updates as the 15s and 14s and
Correct.
13s. It's there. You can push it out. And yeah, you have your camera button, and maybe the camera's slightly different. But let's be real, they don't innovate. They don't innovate.
No, it's been the same product for the last 10 years.
But I mean, you have fucking Kyle, Jeff, and Brian, and Hannah, and Alicia, and all. I mean, I'm just spitting names out here of people that are
I was
going.
say, who are these people?
They're just going. Oh my god! I just bought this 15 last year, but the 16 Pro Max, tummy tickler just came out, and it's some weird name, I know, but I need
I
it.
love the
I need
tummy
it.
tickler.
I need it, and they go spend that kind of money on a phone, and you know what they're doing with the phone?
Hmm.
Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok,
The same thing that they've been doing
and
with
it's
every other
gonna
phone.
work the same. Why are you buying things that you don't need? There are things on there for certain people that they need it,
Sure.
and it'll help them with their jobs and their work and their hobbies. But
Correct.
90% of you don't need what you're buying. You're wasting money. I'm not a financial advisor. I waste money on stuff too. I'm a tech enthusiast. I buy things that I don't necessarily need either. I have thousands wrapped up in Pokemon cards. Another few thousand wrapped up in tech.
We got a lot.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't really judge you, but at the same time, like we could be in control of these companies and we're not.
Sure.
Let them get away
Sure.
with it.
So,
So,
and I think that's where Fortnite really comes into it.
and while
On
we're
the
on the
topic of Fortnite,
topic of games,
on the
though,
topic of Fortnite, I was about to say they
Darth
right
Vader
now
AI. Darth Vader AI.
they do have
Is that where we're going with?
Darth Vader AI.
Fortnite
I
added an
was gonna
AI. This is a very
I was
AI heavy episode, I've noticed.
yeah, I was gonna say Fortnite has added a lot of things
Yeah.
recently, and I as much as I don't play the game, and I always talk a lot of stuff about Fortnite because I haven't played it since like season 2, so don't come for me in the comments, please.
No,
But I like
we played it like 2 years ago. I think we played it last.
it's been a while.
Yeah, it's
Either
been a while.
way, I just want to give Fortnite the props of how big it has gotten to the point they collab with creators. Like right now, brand new Sabrina Carpenter collab has come out. They have the Eminem skins back. I got the item shop pulled over here, guys, so I can see exactly what we're talking about. They brought Eminem back. They got Snoop Dogg currently in the game. Billie Eilish, Sabrina Carpenter. The way they can collab with all these big time names and make skins in their likeness. Like hell, they even put like streamers in here.
Yeah, it
Like I
honestly,
find that cool.
I have to agree with you as someone who doesn't play it that much anymore, and I kind of am not a fan of all that extra stuff. I think it is cool
Sure.
that it gives a fan base to people. It allows people like, oh, I like watching this person, and I will admit I'm at fault of spending money on in-game stuff. We
Well,
all
I
do.
bought so much stuff on this game before.
We all do it, but at the same time, you know, you gotta keep yourself entertained. And
Like they even have collabs with the NFL, NBA, Marvel. Like you,
it's just
you
cool to see that how big it's gotten. It's a fun game, and it's
and
and I
it
and I'm
really represents a lot of fan bases. I feel, especially with the new Star Wars update with the Darth Vader AI, you can play as pretty much any character from Star Wars.
yeah, I will say, yeah, it is nice to see representation of fan bases. It's almost like a community hub, even though it's a battle royale game.
Sure,
But I mean, you have
sure.
so many other games inside one game. It's ridiculous. Really, it is
The,
ridiculous.
the fact that I can dress up as Chewbacca in the game and then dance to a Sabrina Carpenter song while also doing an emote of eating a hot dog, crazy.
The fact that you can install one game for what is it now, 80 gigabytes, and have
Something like that.
access to thousands at this point of games made in the game by other people
Yeah, the
using
creator platform, yeah.
using the game's assets. I mean, it's crazy that that's there. It's really.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't play Fortnite. It's just not something that because I just
No, we,
don't
we just
really.
don't enjoy it.
It's not that I wouldn't enjoy it. It's just not my game anymore. I mean, I've really changed my hobby of games. I play a lot of different things now. But the fact that it's there is impressive. That's a really good feat, and I think people need access to that. And I kind of want to move into some more game stuff while we're on the topic of games. So far, this has been pretty AI heavy. So
Yeah,
we all know GTA 6. That's been buzzing around for a while. So
that's
GTA
a
6 has now, at this point, exceeded its $1 billion budget. It is now
now.
the most expensive game ever made, and it's also
Now,
exceeding the budget of several box office hits. I mean, it's
do
ridiculous.
you feel like they're using that budget to their full ability, especially with the fact that they have pushed this game back now twice, and
It's
every
been
time they
delayed
push it
again.
back,
it just got delayed again, and on top of that, it's
correct.
getting delayed another 3 months after console release for PC players. It's coming to console first, and then 3 months later, you may get it on PC. Because who knows if they'll delay it one more time.
Now, do you feel like they are using that budget adequately? With that being said, because they delayed it so long, do you feel there is so much left in the game that they haven't done that they wanted to have on release day that they are like, no, we like doesn't matter when they get this game, they need the best possible game we can give them at launch.
I want to say one thing about Rockstar is they have they've done a lot of stupid things, but they've made a lot of solid games.
Sure.
And I'll admit that. But the biggest thing with game development now is everyone focuses on graphics and not gameplay. Don't get me
I
wrong.
honestly play my games. I play them on medium half the time.
I
I don't
play my
care how the
games at
graphics look.
1080p, maybe high. I never go ultra. And granted, that's just because that's the GPU I have. But not everyone that's playing these games, on console especially, that's going to be your biggest target,
Yeah,
can play these games at the highest graphical settings. Most of the time, the
yeah,
game's capped at 30 or 60 FPS. I mean, I think a lot of these games, and what I've seen from trailers, they're focusing a lot on graphics, making it look good, characters. Granted, that's nice. But dude, I'm cool with GTA 5 graphics. Just give me a good
sure.
storyline. Give me a good storyline and a good game and good gameplay,
And give me an
and you
updated
can
map. I like the new map. I
and
I
you
do
can have
want the
my
new map.
money. And I mean, you can have my money. I mean, I don't need
I don't
realistic
need to
gangster
see.
simulator, and it be you can see the freckles from 10 feet away. I mean, I don't need ultra graphics, and I know people think you do.
Mm,
You don't. You really don't. You need 1080p is fine. Give me GTA 5 graphics. That's fine. Eh, People would be happy with that.
although although the new graphics are going to be nice
Oh, they
because
look
every
cool.
year that
But here's the other
they look
thing.
beautiful
Here's the other thing. They may look good in a trailer, but they're rendering that
in
on
the
a
gameplay.
in the trailer game. The trailer, they're
No, I'm
rendering
saying,
that
but when it comes to gameplay, it's not gonna
not
look the
going to be
same.
the same. They are rendering all that stuff on a machine that costs more than what the average person has. Probably 10 times, if not more. I mean, you may see your big streamers and your big YouTubers who have, $10,000, $20,000 setups run it no problem at close to those graphical settings. This company that's spending over $1 billion on development, they have the best stuff to run it at the best settings.
Oh yeah,
There's a good chance it gets delayed again too. I mean, it takes so long. It almost feels like with the way they're doing the graphics is how do we know that the biggest thing they haven't done is graphics, voice lines, and those few scenes we've seen?
yeah.
I mean, how
How do we know they
underdeveloped
haven't actually done anything for the game yet?
how underdeveloped is the gameplay, the mechanics, I mean, we're gonna see bugs, and I feel like at this point, it being years since GTA 5's release, this much money spent into it. If we see bugs on release, it's gonna be almost ridiculous, especially at the cost it's coming in at.
Because what's it coming in at? $80?
Yeah, $80 base game,
Which
base game $80.
which is crazy thinking about how I remember games going from $40 on release,
I
which
was,
was at the time it was like, wow, that's kind of expensive, but they were good on launch. And then
I mean,
they
not
went up
everything
to
was
$50 and
great,
then $60,
and I was cool with 60. I was cool with 60 for a lot of stuff.
which
If it was a
I was
bigger
also
game,
cool. I was cool with it because maybe this is just the nostalgia factor in me. I miss games coming out and on launch day, you would take the physical disc, go home, pop it in your console, and immediately have the game at its
and you
very
owned it.
best.
You owned it. That's another big scandal coming through. Is a lot of companies nowadays, you aren't owning that. You're not buying the game. I'm pretty sure with Doom, we're gonna talk about Doom in a second. Doom: The Dark Ages. You can buy a physical copy for whatever it costs, and then it requires an install and
You
online to
don't
play.
have a
You don't
Yeah, you
own the
don't have a
game.
disc.
You own a license, and they can revoke it at any time. So that's another thing. That's ridiculous. And so it's almost like at this point now, physical media is becoming obsolete. Why are we buying disc if we still have to install it? And that was the biggest thing. Black Ops 3. I can relate to that. I can say this because this happened to me. Black Ops 3 came out. Oh, cool. Black Ops 3. This looks cool. I'm
Oh
gonna play the
yeah.
new COD. And plugging it into the 360 because that's what I got it on. I didn't have an Xbox One yet. It was around that time when those were still coming out.
But was that still an age where you popped it in and it immediately popped up?
No, because you needed to
That's
install it, you needed Wi-Fi, and you
that's
needed online to play Black Ops
that's
3.
really weird because back the Xbox 360, this is around the time that I'm talking about, where you would literally just buy the game and pop it in, and you were playing the next second.
Yeah, and then around Black Ops 3 come out, and
I think that
it's
was really
not
when they started the downloading process.
Battlefield. What was that Battlefield that came out around the same time? The one where you're a cop. I don't remember what it's
Uh,
called.
I
Um,
don't remember. I know which Battlefield you're talking about, though.
it was similar. I believe. I may be wrong. I don't have it on hand, but I think it was similar. But the idea of buying a disc to play a game, but then having to install it anyways,
Yeah,
is ridiculous. And then having to have online services to play it.
like even the campaign, I'm pretty sure you had to have online to at least download the campaign, and
Yeah, you
then
needed a
from
connection.
there you could play offline, but you had to have online to even download it.
It's ridiculous because I'm pretty sure the Doom Dark Ages disc, they said there was like barely anything on it storage wise. They read it. There was barely. It was just the installer, and then you
Yeah,
needed online connection. And it's nice that we're getting new games. And by the way, we're gonna talk more about some Doom Dark Ages stuff. But it in general, it's ridiculous that you don't actually own your game when you buy it, and you're buying a license, and they can be revoked at any time. It's crazy.
yeah,
Companies went from we want everyone to play our games to a money shill, and it's like gaming doesn't feel. That's why gaming doesn't feel the same way. Even as you get older,
sure.
it doesn't because you're not. It's become more of a financial burden, and like a one of those machines. It's like slots. And this is gonna be a weird comparison, but it's like slots. You put money in hopes that you're gonna get a jackpot, and eventually you might win and you get kicked out. And it's ridiculous that it's become less about gaming community and enjoyment and more about how much money can we get from these people.
Sure.
It's a crazy industry. With that said, we have a lot of people that still make good games, charge $20 for them, and then you get updates for life. And granted, it's licenses, and those developers, small developers, still care. I have,
Where I think it's getting better is in the form of, I know we just kind of hated on the form of digital media, but nowadays, like Steam, you have access to so many games that, like, at your fingertips. Yes, you have to pay for them, but it's like you said, indie creators, anybody really can put their games on there,
I
and
think,
it gets them out there.
I think
pretty
right
much
now,
immediately.
though, this is what the point I'm leading to, and I was thinking about this the other day. I think that we're seeing a rise of indie games, and I don't just mean
Oh,
indie games.
100%.
We're seeing a rise of solo dev teams, smaller development companies, because their biggest thing is not about money; it's about delivering a game and an experience, and that's what gaming is. It's an experience, and I know a lot of people don't understand that. Now they're more worried about what's the best experience we can give these people. You know,
Sure.
let's talk about. 33 French devs from Ubisoft that left and made Clair Obscur 33, Expedition 33. I've played a little bit of it. That game's
I
beautiful.
don't know what that game's about. Honestly, I haven't seen it before.
Anyways, 33 devs from Ubisoft left. Didn't know that much about game making, but they poured their heart and soul into this game. I have to say, it's a beautiful game. It looks fun from some other clips I've seen, and I've played it a little bit. It is fun. But you can tell by playing it that what actually went into it was we want people to enjoy this. We want it to be a game for them to play. Not a, hey, buy this to make the game cooler or fun, or hey,
Yeah,
pay for this to unlock it. That's the thing we're seeing with a lot of Warzone, COD, and stuff. You can't earn anything anymore. You have to pay
it's all
access.
paid.
You have to pay access to earn things on a battle pass. So I have to pay you $10 to then put in time to get these things. If I'm paying you ten
And it's
dollars,
not even
it's
guaranteed that you get everything because it's based on how much you play. So if you're not playing that game all the time and leveling it up, then it's like a waste of money.
so if I'm paying you $10, just give me it all. And
Right.
I do not want to hear that it has any real value. Digital stuff like that, a skin that, by the way, a lot of it they're making with AI or rendering with AI.
Because because
There's
here's
no,
my
the digital value is so low compared to what you're making profit off of it. It's ridiculous.
because here's my thing with this. If I buy this battle pass for $10 here, okay, this is my $10. I buy it. We're gonna have two separate people here. Person one plays the game every day, 3 hours a day, levels up, and completes the battle pass completely. Person two plays the game every other day, maybe an hour after they get off work, whatever. They don't finish the battle pass. They still paid the same $10. What world is it hurting the company that is putting that battle pass out to just say you can have it all as well? Like what incentive is it saying, well, only this amount of people have actually completed it for the $10? What world does that make any sense?
Yeah,
Does that make sense to you? Like
no, it
if
doesn't. And why did we go from being able to play a game and earn and have to actually grind and play to earn these things to, yeah, you can have it if you buy it and then play it, or hey, yeah, just buy it, it's yours.
yeah,
Where's the enjoyment? That's why gaming sucks for a lot of these games. That's why I think with indie devs and smaller dev teams, we are seeing a rise, and we're going to continue to see a rise in the enjoyment of those games because you buy the game and you want things. When you play the game, you have to unlock it. You have to do these things to unlock it. We're not going to, they're not, and it's great that they're doing that because they're also not charging $70, $80 for a game. They're charging
yeah.
$20. That's a great price for a game that
No, I
you
agree.
could potentially put hours of time into. Granted,
I agree.
there's not really a ROI on gaming. You know, you
Hmm.
kind of have to put value into it as your time and value of enjoyment. And a lot of people don't understand that that aspect of it. Most people don't. But it is a good. There's a lot of people that have their views on gaming and everything, but it is something that I believe for a lot of us is holds memories. The biggest thing,
Sure,
playing with friends. It's a social aspect of it too. That's the biggest thing with technology and gaming and Discord
sure.
and playing with friends. Because we have friends that are across the country right now,
Oh yeah.
but we can hang out and talk to them in a video game and play with them, and it's not the real thing. No, but we can't just go walk out the door, drive 20 minutes, and go see them. For a while.
So
So
it's hard, and
it's hard,
I
and it's a way to socially still interact with people. You know, and
and
catch up with them.
and I like the aspect of video games again going back where I have to play a lot to unlock what I like, what is good in the game. I don't like the aspect of just being able to buy it. So that leads me into I just looked it up, guys. In the past, just today alone, there has been, let's see, it looks like 12 brand new indie games released just today. Not that's not even counting the last week. Like yesterday, it looks like there was close to 30, 40 games released. The amount of infinite games you can download and play with your friends too. A lot of these games are multiplayer,
Yeah.
which allows us to do what we do and play with friends across the world, across the country, anywhere at just our fingertips, and play the games we like.
Yeah,
It's
and
honestly it's such an
granted,
advancement. I
we're
feel
not going to see the downfall of big game company, because they're
no,
always going to release something that we're going to want to play. It's going to be multiplayer. And we're gonna go. Well, I'm tempted, and it's not. We're not just gonna want to play these smaller games all the time. Even though you can put hours into them, solo or multiplayer, there's gonna be other things you're gonna want to play with your friends. So they're gonna have your money. But at least,
sure,
why can't they make it worth it? I don't want a new
sure,
Call of Duty every year. I don't.
because it's the same thing. It's
It's the
reskinned.
same thing. It's reskin. We have 3 CODs out right now. Then they make the COD hub and they put them all together. What's the point? I mean, how
Sure,
many people are really playing the campaign at this point? I think most people buy it for multiplayer. Why? Because
exactly,
you still have battle passes on other CODs
exactly,
and stuff.
exactly.
I mean, what is the point really here? Why we don't need a new COD every year? I'm cool if you take your time making a new COD, making it something different. I feel like we have several CODs that all have the same plot, same timeline at this point.
Hmm.
We're not getting anything new. So don't call it
Sure,
Black Ops 6 and then try to tie it in still. You're not giving us anything new. Don't call it, make something new. COD is not about the story anymore. It's just about the multiplayer. I get that. So why do we have to make a new one every year? Why do you need a new one every year if it's just about multiplayer at this point? You know what I mean? What's the point?
because now they have literally made it so you can use pretty much any gun from the three they have released right now. Modern Warfare 3,
The
I think
three
it's
and the
Modern
hub.
Warfare 2,
Modern Warfare 2,
and then
and 3,
3,
and
and then
Black
Black
Ops
Ops 6.
6.
And you can use any gun from the three in any three of the games. So it's like, what's the point? If I'm playing this one and I can use the gun from the other two games, why don't we just make one game, centralize it, put all the maps in, put all like the modes, like if you
And
want to
then
play without the
they tried to
exosuit and
follow.
with
They tried to follow suit with Fortnite releasing Fortnite Chapter 2, which, by the way, stupid idea. Should have never done it. But either way, it's worked out for them. They tried to follow suit with Warzone 2. That was the dumbest thing they've ever done. You know what they had? They could have built on Black Ops 4 Blackout. Why not
mm,
build on it? You can still sometimes get a match with that. I'm pretty sure it's still up. Why not just build on that? Why did you need to make Warzone?
yeah,
Granted, at the time it was to fit with Modern Warfare, the re-release 2019, Verdansk, Russia. But guess what? You already had a multiplayer battle royale game. You had Blackout, and you dropped it like it was hot when something else came along the next year. And that game had potential, so much potential,
hmm,
and you don't stick with it. And that's the issue when they make a new game every year. They don't stick with what they have. They never ever give us what we want. And it's possible. It's possible because they do it in one game, and then we say, "Hey, we want this back," and then we lose it. They don't
sure.
care. But anyways, I could talk about it all day. I don't want to.
I get you.
I don't
Don't
want to.
worry.
So let's talk about. Well, we already have the new Sabrina thing. We've already kind of covered that a little bit, but that was one of the points I wanted to talk about. But so we'll kind of skip over it. Um,
Uh huh.
but it's Fortnite concerts are cool. I will say that's a cool concept. Just to kind of go back to that. Um,
Sure.
that's free. I mean, granted, it's virtual, but a lot of people can't afford a concert ticket. But then you get to watch the person perform in Fortnite for nothing. I mean, that's.
They don't. They haven't done much of those anymore. They're kind of phasing out of those. I feel like,
I think with
but
Sabrina though,
still.
they may. That's a good chance
I
to
think
bring
I'll
it
have
back.
to attend the Sabrina car concert.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we had Assassin's Creed Shadows come out a while ago. Um, we
The
all
biggest
wanted.
Assassin's Creed guy. I mean, I've heard good things about it. I've, but also I've heard negative things about Assassin's Creed in the past couple of years in the games they've been putting out.
I think
Um,
really the problem is Ubisoft. I think Ubisoft's the biggest issue here. I think
sure.
they're the biggest issue here. Um, People have said combat does feel faster. I haven't played it. Stealth is deeper, but I mean, I saw a clip of them promoting it, and this went kind of viral. You're already an assassin, but you have to put on a certain hat other than your assassin hat to help with stealth kill. That's retarded.
Huh?
Yeah, it's
What?
some weird clip where if you change like whatever cosmetic item you're wearing on your head, it like boosted your stealth kills in the success rate. It's stupid. You're already an assassin.
It doesn't.
No, the game's about being an assassin. Why do? What is the point?
What cosmetic would boost your stealth more than just the regular assassin's cloak and headpiece?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I
That
remember
doesn't.
seeing that and going,
No,
"That's so stupid." I
no,
mean,
I get where you're coming from.
and same thing. Like I played Valhalla late. I played the Valhalla later than everybody else, but I will say that's a fun concept, but it's not Assassin's Creed. You know what I mean? You had some of the Assassin's Creed mechanics, but that's not Assassin's Creed. It's not.
And again, I didn't play Valhalla. I haven't played any of the new releases. I didn't play Black Flag. I didn't play anything since like Assassin's Creed 1 or 2, honestly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I need you to help me out here. What about it kind of like what threw you off about Valhalla?
Valhalla? Well, it was a good game. Honestly, fun. I streamed it a little bit, so there's a couple VODs on my gaming channel. Um,
Sure.
and it's
Plug that down here. Plug
yep,
that down
yeah,
here.
I will. I'll put it in the description. It'll be down below, guys. Not super big yet, but we're getting there. It's a fun game. It is, and there's some Assassin's Creed aspect to it. The combat's kind of fun, but I mean, you essentially go around on your boat with your crew. You're a Viking. You build a little settlement and stuff. I mean,
So
you do
okay,
quests, and
do
then you
you get to upgrade your boat?
kind of. It's been a while since I've played it. Kind of want to play it again now that I'm talking about it. So that's probably being installed tonight.
So look at this, guys.
Yeah,
The fact that he's talking about it, and he was saying it wasn't a traditional Assassin's Creed
it's
game,
not traditional
but he
Assassin's Creed
also
game,
enjoys it.
but it is fun.
So
But I think
so they kind of did cater to a newer thing. You got to
yeah,
see it from
yeah,
Ubisoft
they do,
perspective.
and I think that a lot of people did enjoy it, and it's traveling. I'm also a big Vikings person. That Norse mythology thing. I love it. A lot of my shows, The Last Kingdom, Vikings,
You can
Vikings
be a
Ragnarok.
Viking, honestly.
Yeah, but that's one of my interests is that's things I like. So it really appealed to that side of me, and I think it did it well. Um, I have to give Assassin's Creed Shadows a fair chance. I just haven't played it yet. I will,
Sure.
and then I'll come back to you and give you an honest review. Maybe a little late.
So I think that'll probably be in a couple episodes, guys, down the road. So make sure you look out on his channel for the next episode
I do want to
when
say
we.
though, be on the lookout for a video. It's coming soon. I'm not going to give you a release date because it's not hasn't been shot yet, but it will happen. We're going to talk about some budget tech, some budget tech tools, and some budget tech audio. We did mention the Samsung Google Buds, $200 value, but does everybody really have $200 to spend on earbuds? No. So I'm going to go over a few things in that video that maybe help you out, and then maybe some budget tech as well, but some budget earbuds that will really blow your eardrums away. Not literally, but figuratively. Some
Well,
pretty
they
good stuff.
may.
Some pretty good stuff. So I think I've kind of hit a
I think
lot of the talking points I
I
really
think
wanted
we've
to
hit a
hit.
lot of we've hit a lot of good talking points here.
I do want to say Doom Dark Ages. We talked about some controversy around that. I will say it's installed right now. Probably
Say,
gonna play it later.
I think we're probably gonna have to download it and give it an honest playthrough,
I am
or
excited for
somewhat.
Doom. It's a prequel to Doom 2016. Medieval twist. Does that make me happy? Yes. Doom with swords and shields and demons. You have me excited. Now, I think this is gonna be a fun game from what I've seen. I will say I did see IGN's review, and I have to say I disagree with IGN, even though I haven't played the game. They said it was tough. They said it was different. They said they weren't sure about it.
Well, Doom games are meant to be tough, so I can't
combat was
disagree with that.
my thing is though, this is kind of a hit at IGN, and IGN, I don't care if you come for me. I really don't. I don't think you guys are good at what you do. You're popular, but you're not great at reviewing. So stay in your lane and get out of video games. So I'm ready to play.
Aren't they? Okay.
I know what they do, but I don't. I think they need to go a different direction.
Sure.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
with that being said, it sounds like when we wrap this all up, he's gonna go start this Doom game
Probably,
and check it out for you
probably
guys.
we'll have a
He
few hours
might
log by tonight. Yeah.
I think he might honestly record his live reaction, do a little bit of recording.
I will.
His
That'll
first,
be on the gaming channel again. That'll be down below, so you guys can go check that out. If you're not
and
into
you
video
guys can
games,
see his honest review
you
of it.
don't need to worry about it. But if you're just into tech and video game news, this is your place to be. Now, granted, this is a podcast episode. It's called Control Room, so keep that in mind. But, of course, on this video, we're still going to have tech reviews, some tech news. I'm going to have the website linked below where I post my blogs weekly. One blog a week right now. Busy schedule. And also just simple tech stuff. So, thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you all have a good day, night, morning, whatever time it is for you. Signing off. Thank you for joining us, Jfirecrackers, and putting in your
You're welcome.
valuable input. I appreciate
You're
it. So
welcome.
everybody have a great night. Thank you for watching.